Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I thought it would be fun to go over my 2024 reading stats and then some of my 2025 reading goals. I'm also using a new microphone today, so hopefully the audio works out. We'll see. But yeah, let's just dive right in with the 2024 stats. Last year, 2024, I read a total of 91 books. I had a total of 5 rereads last year, which isn't a really important stat. I think it's just interesting to see how often I go back and reread some of my favorite books. But most of those rereads last year were because of a class I was taking for my master's program, and I had already read those books when I was in middle school, so I had to reread some of those, but that's fine. I think one of those rereads was purely out of my own desire to reread. But yeah, I did add a couple of reread prompts to my TBR jar because I would like to reread some books more, especially just some of the books that I read last year that I loved, that I gave 5 stars. I would love to revisit again this year. So there's that. I DNF'd 2 books last year, and I don't normally DNF. There are books that I am enjoying, but they're not holding my attention very well, so I'll put them down and come back to at a later date, and it could be months later. But these are books that I genuinely just could not read anymore, was never going to pick up again. So those 2 books were If We Were Villains by ML Rio and Stealing a Second Chance by Kristen Lee. Yeah, if you saw my Halloween 24-hour reading challenge, you would hear about why I DNF'd If We Were Villains, and then Stealing a Second Chance was something that I picked out for a TBR jar video, and it did not go well. The genre I read the most was romance. Shocker. I read 33 romance books last year, which honestly feels like there should be more because I read romance so often. So the next genre that I read the most is young adult fantasy with 9 books, and then in third place is mystery thriller with 6 books. So I thought that was a cool stat to see how often I'm branching out into different genres. I'll be honest, there's not very many different genres. My next stat is series. I started 24 series last year. That's a lot. Out of those 24 series, I finished 2 of them. The first one being Letters of Enchantment, so Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. Loved that series. A 5-star duology. I think I rated the second book a little bit lower. And then the second series that I finished was Dreamland Billionaires by Lauren Asher. I was really liking those books until the third one, and I can't quite remember what exactly, but something set me off in the third book, and I gave it a 2 stars. So yeah, that's not a great statistic. Roughly 8% of the series I started last year I actually finished. However, I did DNF 5 of those series that I started, or I might have been in the middle of prior to the year beginning. I'm trying to remember which ones. I know the Stealing a Second Chance to the book that I did DNF. That was the first book in a series. DNF'd it. What else? The Addicted series by, I think it's Krista and Becca Ritchie. I decided not to finish that series. So there's a couple things like that where I read the first book, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it enough to continue in the series. Out of the 91 books I read last year, 56 of those books were for videos that I put out on my channel, and 29 of those books were mood reads, and then 6 of those books were for school. I gotta say, 56 for videos, that's a really big percentage going into videos, and they're not all specifically planned out. Some videos I got to mood read some of the books that I had been wanting to read. They just happened to fit a challenge I was doing, or I got to make a video surrounding those books. So somehow in the past year, I talked about 56 books on my channel, which I think is kind of cool. Also, interestingly, out of the 91 books, 58 of them were physical copies and 31 were Kindle books. I got a Kindle for Christmas in 2023, and then I got Kindle Unlimited, which has been amazing. Kindle Unlimited, I think right now is roughly $12 a month. So my justification for it was if I read 2 books off of Kindle Unlimited every month, I'm pretty much getting that money back by not going out and buying the physical book. Most of my romances that I like reading are on Kindle, and it's just easy to get the whole series like that. So I really do like Kindle Unlimited. And I think you can tell because I read like almost exactly 1/3 of all my books that I read last year on Kindle Unlimited. And then out of those 91 books, 2 were audiobooks, which were The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden and the third, Gilmore Girl by Kelly Bishop. One I liked significantly more than the other. You can take a guess as to which one. For audiobooks, I just personally think that memoirs and mystery thrillers are better as an audiobook, because most memoirs, they get the author of the memoir or who the memoir is about to narrate the audiobook, and it just is like so immersive. I think it's just so fun to hear someone talk about their own life, and it just feels like you're sitting down having a conversation with someone rather than reading a book. And then mystery thrillers, I think for me, build so much more suspense and tension when I'm listening to it. Also, sometimes I feel silly buying physical mystery thriller books because you read them once and you don't really read them again because you already know like the plot twists that are like supposed to get you. Like that's the whole point of a mystery thriller book, is to figure out the mystery, to figure out the plot twists at the end. And so I just find that I don't really go back and reread those kind of books. So if I'm listening to it as an audiobook one time, not an issue. I also think it really helps that Spotify made it a part of their premium plan to get like, I think 15 hours of audiobook a month. I think that is definitely a really cool addition that Spotify added. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later when I get to my goals. But coming back to my stats, the authors I read the most from, coming in at first place, is Elsie Silver with 6 books. I started both the Gold Rush Ranch series and the Chestnut Springs series last year. I really love the Chestnut Springs series. The Gold Rush Ranch one, not as much. But that's okay, because I still enjoy Elsie Silver's writing so much. I can read through her books so quickly. They're like candy, okay? I love them. The next author I read from, coming in at second place, is Emily Henry with 5 books. I did do a tier ranking Emily Henry's most popular books, and I read her 5 most popular adult romances: Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation, Book Lovers, Happy Place, and then Funny Story, which is a new release last year. Absolutely loved all those books. Some I liked more than others, but Happy Place, I think about constantly. Okay, that book has stuck with me. I think it's like a 6-star read. There's a tie for third place from authors I read the most from, and it's Sarah J. Maas and Lauren Asher with 4 books. I started the Throne of Glass series last year, and I'm doing a vlog series with spoilers as I read each of those books. And then Lauren Asher, I read The Dreamland Billionaires, and then I read Throttled, which is the first book in the Dirty Air series. That's one that I've soft DNF'd. Not the book, but the series. I just didn't like it as much as the Dreamland Billionaire series. Books that took me the longest to read. I thought this was an interesting stat because sometimes I will pick up a book and it'll take me days to read it. And then sometimes I pick up a book and it takes me like hours, okay? I don't know why. It's not that I don't enjoy some of these books. They just take me long to read. So coming in first place with 28 days was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. That took me I think the whole month of May and most of June. Then we have Heir of Fire with 24 days. That one took me a really long time, but in all fairness, I was starting a new job and traveling in the month of November, so it just took me longer to read. And then in third place, we have The Serpent and the Wings of Night with 20 days. That one was a fun book. I read that for a mood read. It wasn't even for a video. It just took me a long time to get through because I was reading it on my Kindle a little bit every night before I went to bed. But on average, it took me roughly 2 days to finish a book, which is honestly pretty good. The months with the most reads, in first place was February with 15 books, and October got second place with 10 books, which I think is interesting that those 2 months got the most reads because in those months, I did a 24-hour reading challenge. And I think that definitely helped boosted how many books I was able to finish because in the span of 24 hours, I would read roughly 3 or 4 books. So kind of cool. Interesting to look back on and see that kind of thing. The month that I read the least in was November with 2 books. I finished 2 books in the month of November. I don't know why I didn't read that much. Now, one stat that I skipped over for some reason, 2 stats I skipped over. I guess my brain just jumped through the lines. I had 11 5-star books last year. I think that's pretty darn good. That's roughly a 10th of all the books that I read. Granted, I'm probably a little generous, okay? Looking back, some of the books that I gave 5 stars, I'm like, should that really have gotten that 5 stars? I'm thinking specifically of The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Looking back, I don't know if that was a 5-star read, okay? I think it was just the nostalgia that was really pushing it. My average rating for the year was 3.75, which is also pretty good, I would say. A 3-star book is not a bad book. I think a majority of the books that I rated were 4 stars. Again, I think I'm a little generous sometimes in my ratings, but 3.75 is a good rating. It's not bad by any means. So not mad at that at all. But yeah, I think that concludes the stats section of this video. If you want me to do a little bit more of a breakdown of, some of the 5-star reads I had or any other of these stats, let me know in the comments. But now we will be moving on to my 2025 goals. We'll see how this goes. First of all, I would like to read 85 books. Last year, my goal was to read, I think, 75, and obviously I accomplished that goal by reading 91. I was not sure how many books to make my goal this year because I wasn't really sure where my year was going. This past month, like January, was kind of a where is my life going type of thing. So I had a job. I am no longer working at that job. It was a temporary job. I didn't get fired or anything. Okay, it was a temporary job. I applied for a more permanent position. I didn't get it. That's okay. Now I am applying to get a teaching license. So I have to go back to school for that and get a master's degree. So it's like, I don't know how much time I'll have this year to read. Obviously, I still would like to read a bunch, but these past couple months, I really haven't been reading that much. So my goal is 85 books. If I get there, great. If not, it's not that big of a deal. Things happen, but I think I could achieve it. My next goal is I would like to finish the Throne of Glass series, okay? That was a goal last year. I did not accomplish that goal, obviously. I do think I can accomplish that goal this year. I have 4 books left. 2 of them I'm going to tandem read, so it's kind of really just reading 3 books. One of them just happens to be massive. So I think I can accomplish that goal. I would like to read 1 classic this year. Last year, I had a goal of reading 2 classics, and I did not even read 1. I failed at that goal. So I would really like to read at least 1 this year. I think 1 is achievable. We'll see. My next goal is to read 10 nonfiction books. Last year I had a goal to read 5. I think I ended up reading 6. Most of those ended up being memoirs. I think those are probably one of the easiest nonfiction to read because I find people's lives very interesting. But I also read some more like scientific based nonfiction last year, which was kind of a first for me. But I really do enjoy nonfiction almost as much as fiction, I would say, even sometimes more than fiction. It just depends on the book, honestly. I think it would be nice to read more nonfiction, so that's why I doubled the goal this year to read 10. Another goal this year, which I haven't decided any quantifiable way to make sure I accomplish this goal, but I would like to finish more series than I start. I am roughly in the middle of 23 series, okay? I'm hoping not to start as many series this year because I'm already in the middle of so many of them, but I will say the ones I'm in the middle of, most of them, I have like just 1 more book left in that series and I just need to finish it. I just want to be more mindful of finishing things I'm in the middle of. I will say, I don't think I've started a new series yet this year. Good job, Morgan. My next goal is to complete at least 50% of my monthly TBR. So, if you haven't been on this channel before, I do monthly TBR jar videos where I pick prompts out of a TBR and... I pick prompts out of a jar and pick books that fit those prompts and put that on my TBR for that month. I don't do it every single month. Some months I skip, like I skipped in January. I usually pick 8 books. I would like to finish at least 4 out of those 8 books. My December TBR, I don't think I read a single book off of that TBR. Oh my goodness, it's bad. Actually, I think I read 1 book, but that was the one I DNF'd. I would really like to finish more of the books that I put on these TBRs because a lot of these books I'm really excited about and the prompts make me really excited to read them. So I'd like to read more of those books. And then my last reading goal of this year is to listen to at least 1 audiobook every month. This kind of goes back to what I was saying about Spotify putting it as part of their premium plan that you get 15 listening hours. I did not make good use of that last year. I think I only finished the hours once or twice. So it is my goal this year to actually use up those hours. But yeah, all my other goal, I mean, I have a couple like social media goals as it pertains to this channel and to like my Bookstagram and my book talk. If you ever take a peek, I always put the links to those down below in the description box. I have not posted on Instagram or TikTok in months, okay? It is my goal to start posting on those more. Right now, it's one short form video a month. It should be more than that, but I didn't do 1 month last year. So I think just making baby steps towards that, like towards posting more, is what I need in order to like actually accomplish anything. So my baby step is one short form video a month. I would like to post one video on YouTube a week. Last year it was 2 a month, okay? And I actually am really proud of myself. I think I achieved that. I'll have to go back and look, but I think I did post at least 2 videos every month, which is pretty good for me. I think there might be 1 month that I didn't over the summer. I'm not positive, but overall, I think I did a really good job of being a little bit more consistent in my posting last year. Don't get me started on this year. I haven't posted anything. I didn't post a single video in January, okay? I don't know what to say. It was a crazy month, but I would like to start posting once a week. So that means roughly 4 videos a month. Also, I would like to do a week in my life vlog every week. I started this on my birthday in November. I just realized life is moving really fast and I should probably document a little bit of it, or at least be a little better about documenting, which I think honestly the week in my life vlogs have made me do better at that. Like not only documenting through video, but also taking pictures. Like I've been taking a lot more pictures and I'd like to keep it up. I think there's only 1 week so far that I missed, and that was the week of New Year's. It didn't happen, but that's okay. It's okay. Like, here's how I'm going to close out this video. These are my goals. It is okay if I don't achieve every single one of these goals. I am a perfectionist, okay? I like things to be perfect. I make goals every year and I don't achieve all of them, and that's okay. Like, I don't want to be mad at myself for not achieving these goals. And that's why some of these are really small goals, like 1 classic for the whole year. It's a small goal because I think I'm more likely to achieve it. And if I don't, that's okay. And like if you're making goals for this year, it is okay if you don't achieve them. It happens. I just wanted to say, if you're stressed out about achieving your goals, that's not what they're there for. Goals are there to make you like work towards being a better version of you. And if that's not possible right now, if you're not able or capable to do that, that's okay. You're great as you are. It's just something I have to remind myself of constantly. So now that we're done with that, those are my 2024 stats and my 2025 goals. Let me know down in the comments what some of your goals for this year are. What kind of reading goals do you have? Do you have just other life goals? Let me know and we'll talk about it down in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I am so happy you guys are all here. I know this video is coming out a little bit later into 2025 than I planned. It's going to be in February, but life happens, so it's all good. But yeah, thank you so much for watching it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!